Hey, what is up, everybody? Ross Cessna from Spiritual Phoenix Studios, and I'm going to give you a free daily tarot reading. Before we do that, though, let's take a quick breath. So we're going to breathe in through our nose, hold it, let it out slowly through your mouth. Don't you feel better? Okay. Now, with that being said, I'm like doing this way later, and it feels so weird to me. We're going to do the How Others See Me spread. I'm doing these all from a book, by the way. I'm going to start putting the link to the book in the videos and the description, so that way people know that they can get it themselves. So this is How Others See Me Venetian Mask Spread, and this is for November 21st. And Venice holds Festa della Salute today. Workers, probably not in 2020, workers lay a floating pontoon bridge over the Grand Canal. Citizens literally walk upon the water as they make their way across the bridge towards Salute Church. Once there, they give thanks to the Virgin Mary for freeing them from the 16th century plague that struck this lagoon city, and they request she keeps them in good health. Maybe they are doing it this year, because they mentioned the plague. Who knows? The summation of this spread is, what do you display to the outer world? Venice is well known for intricate carnival masks. Concealing who we truly are, masks allow us to role play as someone or something else. This spread takes a look at the mask you put on when facing the world. Damn. Okay, so the very first card that we have is, what is the true nature of your inner self? The Wheel of Fortune in reverse comes up. Misfortune and bad luck. In terms of like inner self, I don't know. I can relate to that on a deep level. Maybe you can too. I'm sure a lot of us, especially this year, are kind of like that little gif with the dog where everything's on fire and he's just sitting there like everything is fine. Like that's kind of the general meme of the year, I feel like. So what is the true nature of your inner self? A little bit misfortunate, but the cool thing about the Wheel of Fortune is it reminds us that life is cyclical, right? So you can only stay at the bottom for so long before things start to have an upswing, especially if you're present with it. One of the cool things about understanding the cyclical nature of stuff too, and this is going to be me going on a quick mini rant, is according to Hermeticism at some point, if you work with understanding polarity, like good results, bad results, or maybe pleasing and unpleasing results, however you need to phrase it. If you ever study that long enough, you can begin to neutralize situations with your perception. So I don't know. The second card is, how do others interpret your truth? Nine of Cups comes up, honestly. Nine of Cups is comfort and satisfaction. That means that people think that you speak from the heart. You're warm, you're honest, and you really show up for other people, and there's a lot of richness there too, right? So cups are about emotions, nines are about fruition. So this is a fulfillment of your emotions. They think that you largely feel emotionally fulfilled, and also that you're probably doing the things that make you happy. So I think that others probably see you. Here's the thing, right? I think others often see us better than we see ourselves because they probably have a way clearer view, and they like don't shit on themselves. They don't shit on us as much as we might shit on ourselves, I guess. How do you act differently when you're alone is the next question. The High Priestess in reverse comes up. This is about being hypocritical. And additionally, this can also mean deceit when it's in reverse. So you might not be that honest with yourself. I'm laughing because some of this, again, is relative to me. I normally have a hard time reading for myself. And when I read for other people, it seems that cards speak better for me. So it's just funny to have this experience. One of the cool things about this, too, is my whole interpretation of reversals is that's just how you're choosing to show up to life at this present moment. And the opposite energy of that card is still accessible to you. You have to make different choices. Like, I don't believe in everything's determined. I think that we have choice. So the future isn't written. There's most likely potential outcomes, but the choices and the actions that we take have an impact on that, obviously. Fortune telling is a lot more like weather forecasting than anything else. I just looked at the time now and I'm like so rambling on this one, so we're gonna move on. Oh yeah, but the High Priestess if it was upright, would be about mystery and intuition, right? So it's tapping into the mystery of life, and accessing that power. And it's also being receptive more so than taking action, right? It's accessing wisdom through patience. Next one is, how would you behave when you think people are watching you? How do you behave when you think people are watching you? This is like the sassiest, spiciest tarot reading I've done in a while. The Devil card in reverse. How do you behave when you think people are watching you? Devil card in reverse is like a quicker end of something. So like you try to hide kind of the bullshit when you're in front of other people real quick. You snuff that shit out quick when you think people are watching, and you put on your poker face. Or you put on your Venetian mask, as the paragraph at the beginning of this talked about. That's some funny shit. All right, let's move on to 5. What you think you project into the world is the next card. The Moon card comes up. The Moon card is about illusion and fear. And I don't think it's like the type of fear that like people are afraid of you physically or anything like that. I think it's more of a sense of intimidation because of mystery. So like the energy of the Moon card largely taps into similar energy to the High Priestess. High Priestess is obviously associated with the moon, right? But High Priestess, again, is that passive energy. So it's more so kind of the comfort and detachment and almost like that mystical experience. Mystical people are like really, they make regular people uncomfortable, I guess is the easiest way to put it, because they're functioning on a different wavelength. And if I'm not mistaken, the moon is relative to Pisces. And Pisces are kind of those like deep aquatic people. And they make people uncomfortable too, right? I don't know. It's that dreamer mindset, and a level of inaccessibility, I think, is what comes up. So what's the next one? What you actually project into the world. The Death card comes up. That's about transformation or change. Like you might think that you project a lot of illusion and confusion and all of this stuff, but people actually see a lot of growth in you and development, and just like a whole new person being birthed from it. And honestly, the Death card is associated with kind of like the energy of the Phoenix, much like the name that I use or whatever for the business. But that Phoenix energy is this constant state of rebirth, and we're always in this constant state of evolution. And it seems like people pick up that that's what you're actually about, right? Is growth and change. Some people are comfortable not growing, and I guess that's fine. But others of us, we have to keep going. What can you safely reveal to those around you? Knight of Swords comes up. This is about being opinionated and hasty. So what this means is you're able to be yourself and maybe have a slip of the tongue, and have the occasional off thought and make the mistake, right? The people that are around you understand that you're probably going to say the wrong thing a lot of the time if you're in private company. And while I completely think that we need to be more mindful of some of the things that we say to other people, there's been a large pushback of being able to say anything almost anymore without upsetting people. And I think that having this ability for people to just speak freely in situations with people around you is very nice, to not have to feel so guarded. And I think that one of the things that would be good about this is we're forced to deepen the relationships that we have right now in a big way, and getting more comfortable with who we really are and with who the other people in our lives really are, because there's not much of an opportunity otherwise. And I think that that's really good, right? And the last one is, what should you protect? Three of Swords comes up. This is interesting. Like, the more that I've worked with this card, I really like, this is fucked up to say, I like the energy of the card, even though a lot of people associate it negatively. Threes are about communication. Swords are about the mind. This is kind of like more so, heartbreak is more so what your mind tells you, is how I understand this card now, because it's largely more so about perception. A lot of the times that we get our heart broken, it's more so the expectations that we put on situations. But what you need to protect is how your mind communicates to you, like how you talk to yourself, right? And a lot of us have a lot of unhealthy subconscious programs running around that we think is how we really think, when really it's just kind of how we've been conditioned to think over the course of our lives by our own actions and people in our lives. And you should really protect how you talk to yourself. On my own personal journey, right, that's been the one fundamental thing that has probably shifted my life more than anything else. It's changing that inner dialogue. And that's a long and dedicated process. But the more that you do that, it snowballs, right? And the more that it snowballs, the more momentum it picks up and it becomes easier. This is like where all your freedom lies, like right in your head. And we need to guard that area more freely and make sure that we're not keeping ideas that we don't resonate with in there. And make sure that we're not telling ourselves things that aren't true. I'm going to give you like one piece of wisdom, I guess, that I've gained on my own path. And that would be the ability to sit down and when you say negative things to yourself, asking yourself if that is actually true. Like, say, is this true? Why? And then if you say yes, like to yourself in your head, like, yeah, I really do believe that. Ask yourself why and look for specific evidence. And like play detective about where you've come to this conclusion from or what brought that up. And then once you get to look at all of that evidence, if you still believe it, then you have to ask yourself this question: is it possible that I'm incorrect in this assumption? You can skip all of that and ask yourself that one right away. Is it possible that I'm incorrect? But the deeper that you dig at this and the more evidence that you build up in response to the harmful things that you say to yourself, the easier it is to take out some of the weight and then replace like it with a true statement, because you already have evidence that you believe it. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of the more new agey things miss, is you actually have to believe what you're saying. And for a lot of us, we actually have to do the fundamental work to believe it. Like, there's no shortcuts on a deeper level of this. And that's been my experience. And with that, I'm going to shut up because I'm rambling now and this video is already way too long. But like this, if it was helpful, drop a comment, ask a question if you want. And if you don't already, follow me. Peace. Hey, thanks again for checking out my channel. If you haven't already, subscribe by hitting the phoenix down below and check out more of my videos over there.